How you doing? David Taub here from nextlevelguitar.com, and I've been getting a lot of emails here about amps and tone and what amp am I using in a lot of the lessons that I'm doing. And the bottom line is that when I do a lot of recording video-wise, I have to keep the volume pretty low so I could talk over it. So I use solid-state practice amps, or I have a very small tube amp that I use. I generally, when I play live, like tube amps because I like that warm, thick, rich tube sound. But you have to crank them to really get those voltages up and get those tubes talking to each other to get that real thick sound that I personally like. So in the studio, I play more small practice amps when I'm filming video. And a lot of the videos I use this amp, which is a Line 6 112 Spider 1, 50 watt. Now, they're up to the Line 6 Spider 3 now. They don't make the Spider 1s anymore, but you could still get this amp pretty cheap on eBay or check your local Craigslist. And it really packs a lot of features into an amp at an affordable price. So I get a lot of emails from students who just want like a first amp or a budget amp. You want to check out the Line 6 line because you can get a lot of sounds out of it. I'll take you through the amp and some of the tones pretty quickly. But just to tell you some of the features, it has a amp model. So it's a modeling amp, which models, you got your clean, twang, a little bit of distorted out. You get some real twangy sounds. It has a blues setting, crunch, a recto, which are your more heavily distorted settings, and the insane channel, which has the most gain. You have your drive, which is your level of distortion or gain. And then you have your EQ, your bass, middle, and trebs. Channel volume, which I generally like on the solid state amps to keep the channel volume fully wide open, full on, and then control the overall volume with the master volume, because it really doesn't matter too much, much like on tube amps where you want to keep the master hotter to get that really cranking out those output tubes. Here it doesn't matter. The amp will sound pretty similar whether it's at low volume or high volume. And then it has some different effects, built-in reverb. It has some delays, tape echoes, tremolo, choruses, and flange, which are not bad. Again, for a fairly inexpensive amp, it does pack a pretty good punch. This is the 112 model, and it works nice. Throw a mic on it in the studio, and I'll just play through a couple of the settings real quick using a Fender mid-90s. This is a custom shop Stratocaster. I'm on the clean channel right now. So let's get some really pretty tones. And if I change pickups a little bit, so it has some pretty cool, decent, clean tones. And then as you start cranking it up, now I'm going to the twang channel. Now the amp starts having a little bit of gain. I'm just playing E, fifth, G, and an A chord, just so you can hear the sound of the amps. Blues sound cuts off some of the highs. Get more. Okay, so now if I start getting into more of the drive channels, here's the crunch setting. Everything else I'm not touching because you want to experiment to get a decent sound out of the amp, depending on what guitar and pickup you're using. I have the bass. I like a little bit more bass, not too much because you don't want it to be too muddy. Bass is like 2 o'clock. I cut the mids back a bit, 11 o'clock, and treble around 1 o'clock. Some guys like to dial the mids back, get that scooped kind of mid sound. If you like that, this amp can do that too. Now as we move, you can see as we're out in the crunch, it's starting to add more gain. If I switch to the brighter back pickup, and you could experiment by taking some of the drive off and cleaning it up. And as we go through the rest, so now as we get to the insane channel, that has the most gain. And you can get some pretty heavy tones out of this amp. I'm playing through the back pickup again. Like with that open D chord, it's still not ridiculous amounts of gain, whereas it's too fuzzy, but you get some pretty good sounds. And again, you could back off. Now, I only had the drive on 3, not even halfway. If I start cranking the drive more, it starts getting heavier and heavier. Switch to the neck pickup. One of the other features that's kind of cool on this amp is the built-in delay. So one of the things I like about the delay is it's a lot of fun, you know, and you can kind of get creative with it, with the amount of delay time, okay? And then kind of just... And you can also turn that into kind of like the big kind of concert hall delay sound. I got the delay cranked about 3/4. So I got the delay kind of cranking. The other thing is I like the chorus. It has a nice sounding kind of chorus, shimmery kind of. Just changing pickups now. Here's a neck pickup. So it kind of gets a... So if you're looking for a budget amp that has some big sounds, give it a try. And I think you'll be, or just maybe if you just need a practice amp for your room where you can play decent at low volume. The other nice feature, this has a headphones jack. So if you don't want to bother anybody, wake the neighbors or the kids, you can plug headphones in there. It has a foot switch pedal. So you control some of the features foot switchable, and it's kind of a cool amp. So everyone keeps writing asking me what I'm using in a lot of lessons. That's it. And by the way, I'm plugged straight from the guitar right into the amp. I don't have any other effects or anything else. I don't generally use a lot of effects, and most of the time I'm just plugging straight into the amp. All right, we'll see you soon. Take care.